Hello students, I hope all of you are doing really well. Welcome to another video of CAT LRDI past questions. We will be taking a look at one of the signature games and tournaments set today, which is, of course, it is dated in CAT 2002, so it was a long time ago. But this is one of the sets, or this is one of the tournaments which is discussed very widely when it comes to games and tournaments to understand the concepts. And I'm sure a lot of you students did have doubts on it. They had posted the doubts as well. So let's take a look at this entire set, different types of questions that have been consolidated. It's not just the set that had come in CAT, but along with that, we have incorporated a few other types of questions that can be based out of the same tournament or the same set. So I have tried to cover a majority of the question types that could be a part of a set like this. And let's get right into it. But right before that, make sure that you want to share this with your friends. If you want to subscribe to our channel, please do so. The link is in the description as well, so that you're updated on the LRDI sets that we send across every single week. So we pick up one set from the previous year's CAT papers, and we solve them over here in the videos, and then we'll share it across to you as well. So make sure that you're following us, make sure that you are sharing this across the entire platform, and let's get right into the set. All right, so the information is given. I'm taking it step by step so we understand everything that is in the set itself. 16 teams have been divided to participate. 16 teams have been invited to participate in the ABC Gold Cup cricket tournament. The tournament is conducted in 2 stages. In the first stage, the teams are divided into 2 groups. Each group consists of 8 teams. Clearly, there are 16 teams, and they have been divided into 2 groups. One group is of 8, and the other group is also of 8 teams, with each team playing every other team in its group exactly once. Let's try and understand this particular line first before we get on with the next bit. So by this line, we have 2 groups. We have group 1 and group 2. Group 1 has 8 teams. So I am doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. These are my 8 teams in the first group. My second group might have P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, and W. These are the 8 groups in group 2. Each group consists of 8 teams, with each team playing every other team in its group exactly once. So first of all, the team is playing within its group itself, and they're playing with every other team member exactly once. That means if I take a look at A is playing how many matches in itself, in the group itself. So we have A playing with B, with C, with D, with E, F, G, and H. A is playing a total of 7 games. Of course, A cannot play with A, which is the 8th team. So there are 7 games that A is playing. Now, when I list the number of games for B, I know that B has played with A, but that is already counted in this particular list. A match between A and B is the same as the match between B and A. So I'm not going to add another match over here when I'm counting B's matches other than the ones that are already counted, which means I'm going to write down B's new matches or B's fresh matches. So B has played with C, D, E, F, G, and H. These matches have not been counted anywhere so far, which again tells me that B has played another 6 fresh matches apart from the match between A and B. If I go to C, then C will have played a match with D, E, F, G, and H. So C's matches will be 5 other than the matches played with A and with B. This is how we're going to list down all the matches played for all the teams. And this is how we understand that each team has played with every other team exactly once from the group itself. Likewise, we have group 2 as well. So P will also have played 7 matches with the rest of the people. Q will have played 6 matches with the remaining people. R will have played 5 matches. S will have played 4 matches. T will have played 3. U will have played 2. V will have played 1, and W, all the matches are counted for. W has played all the matches which are taken care of in these numbers itself. So that's the understanding of the first slide here. At the end of stage 1, the top 4 teams from each group advance to the second stage while the rest are eliminated. So this is a clear-cut distinction. The top 4 teams. Suppose we have E, F, G, and H have won all these matches that they've played. And T, U, V, W, suppose, are the ones who have won all the matches that they have played. They will advance to the next team or to the next round, and these 4 will get eliminated. That is just a supposition. So I'm just assuming that EFGH are the top 4 teams from group 1 and TUVW are the top 4 teams from group 2 after the first stage. Let's take a look at what happens in the next stage. The second stage comprises of several rounds. A round involves 1 match for each team. A round involves 1 match for each team. 1 match for each team. 1 round involves 1 match for each team, and there are several rounds in the stage. The winner of a match in a round advances to the next round, while the loser is eliminated. The team that remains undefeated in the second stage is declared the winner and claims the gold cup. So we know that 4 teams from here have gone ahead and 4 teams from stage 2 have gone ahead. Let's try and play the matches between these. So we have EFGH that have won from the first round, and we have TUVW that have won from the second round. Now, in round 1 of stage 2, 1 match for each team is being played. That means 1 match between, so E plays 1 match, F plays 1 match, G plays 1 match, H plays 1 match, and so also do these teams. So I'm assuming, now they've not mentioned who plays against whom. Let's suppose that E is playing with T, F is playing with U, G is playing with V, and H is playing with W. Or we can also assume that they are playing within themselves. Okay, cancel it, cancel it, cancel it. Let's assume that E is playing with H, F is playing with G, T is playing with W, and U is playing with V. So these are 4 matches over here. This is 1 round. From these matches, the ones who have lost will be eliminated, and the ones who will win will go forward into round 2. Again, an assumption is E wins the match between E and H, F wins the match between F and G, T wins the match between T and W, and U wins the match between U and V. So now my round 2 members are E, F, T, and U. Again, in each round, there is 1 match being played by every team. So let's suppose now that E and F are playing a match and T and U are playing a match. So in round 2, there will be 2 winners. Suppose E has won the match and T has won the match. Now in round 3, I have E and T as my finalists, and there is going to be a last match between E and T. So there are approximately so many rounds that are there. So there are 3 rounds that are there in the second stage. So clearly we know these rounds as a quarterfinal, semi-final, and a final. That is the understanding of the 3rd paragraph of this entire set. I hope all the information till here is clear. Then we'll go ahead with the next paragraph in the set. The last paragraph says, a tournament rules are such that each match results in a winner and a loser with no possibility of a tie. In the first stage, a team earns 1 point for each win and no points for a loss. So there's +1 for a win and no points for a loss. At the end of the first stage, teams in each group are ranked on the basis of total points to determine the qualifiers advancing to the next stage. Remember, after the first stage, there were 4 teams, the top 4 teams, which were going on to the next stage. The other 4 were eliminated. That top 4 is going to be decided by the points that are there. Ties are resolved by a series of complex tie-breaking rules so that exactly 4 teams from each group advance to the next stage. So this information is all that is given to us about tie-breaking, but we know for sure that there is no possibility for tie in a match. Right? There has to be either a winner and a loser. There cannot be both of them being a tie. right? These ties are talked about in terms of ranking, in terms of what is the total score that they have received, and then which score member will go ahead to the next stage and which one will not. Let's now try and see the questions that follow, and then we're going to play the game according to each and every question's demand as such. The first question is this. What is the total number of matches played in the entire tournament? So we want to look at the entire tournament. Now, right before this, when we were trying to understand the tournament, we knew or we had figured out that A plays a match with B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. That means A plays 7 matches. B plays a fresh 6 matches because B plays with C, D, E, F, G, and H. Make sure that you're aware that the game between B and A is already covered in this 7. That's why we do not add it once again because it's only 1 match. Likewise, C plays fresh matches with D, E, F, G, and H. That means C plays an extra 5 matches. D will play 4, E will play 3, F will play 2, G will play 1, and H is not going to play any fresh matches. That means all of the matches of H are counted in these values itself. Because C is playing with H, that is considered as one of the 5s. B is playing with H is considered as one of the 6s. A is playing with H is covered in one of the 7s. So H is not playing any extra matches apart from these all. So in group 1, how many total matches do we have? We have 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. If you want to ease it out, the first and the last number will give you an 8. The second and the second last number will give you an 8. 5 and 3 will give you an 8 and plus a 4. So you have 8 plus 8 plus 8, that is 24, plus this 4, which gives you 28 matches. So from the first bit, we have 28 matches in group 1. Then we have 28 matches in group 2 as well, because the same thing has been replicated in group 2. After this, we need to see what else is in the tournament. This is only the first phase. This is stage 1. In stage 2, how many matches are being played? So we saw in stage 2, there are 8 people in the first round, which is 4 from group 1 and 4 from group 2. If there are 8 people and each person is playing exactly 1 match, there will be 4 matches between 8 players. Then there will be 2 matches between the semi-finalists, that are 4 semi-finalists, and there will be one final match, which gives you a total of 7 in stage 2. So we have 56 in stage 1 plus 7 matches in stage 2. That gives us a total of 63 matches in the entire tournament. Let's go ahead with the next question. What is the highest number of wins for a team in the first stage, in spite of which it would be eliminated at the end of the first stage? So we want to give a particular team the highest number of wins, but still make sure that they are eliminated at the end of the first stage. Now, whenever you get a question like this, you want to make sure that the 5th team, we know that there are 4 teams that are going ahead. So the 5th team, even though they are scoring a high set of wins, they're still getting eliminated. What is the best plan to go forward with this is, we know that the top 4 teams are going to go ahead. So give the 5th team also the same number of points. If we give the 5th team also the same number of points as we have given the top 4, we know that we have given them the highest number of wins, but there can be only 4 teams that go ahead. The 5th one will not go ahead. They will be eliminated. And this is where the complex situation of whether there is a tie, who goes next to the next stage, who does not go to the next stage, is going to be considered, but that is left for the board to decide. We don't have to worry about a tiebreaker as such. So we want to now make sure that there are equal number of wins given in the first 5 teams, out of which only 4 will go ahead, 1 will be eliminated automatically. Now, in order to give the first 5 teams or the top 5 teams equal number of scores, we have to first try and see what are the other 3 getting. You want to minimize the points given to F, G, and H so that you can maximize the points given to A, B, C, D, and E. because they have asked us the highest number of wins. So they want to maximize the number of wins. What is the minimum scores that F, G, and H can have? Now we already know that there are no ties, which means there is either a win or a loss. And we also know that there are 28 matches in the entire group. Now, out of the 28 matches, if you want to minimize the number of wins between F, G, and H, what can be done? I can say that F has to play games with G and H here. G has to play a game with H here, and H has to not play any game. So I'm considering that F has won both the matches, or I could have one win and one loss. In that case, somebody else will get a win, right? So there are how many matches between these three? There are 3 matches being played. That means there are 3 wins and 3 losses to be accompanied for. So we have to give 3 wins amongst F, G, and H. If there is a game between F and G, if there is a game between F and H, there is a game between G and H as well, right? So if F is winning, then G is losing. If H is winning over here, F is losing. And between G and H, if G is winning, then H is losing. So clearly there are 3 wins and 3 losses. So there has to be a minimum of 3 wins that are given between these 3 players. If this is understood, we know, or we can assume now, that F has won both the matches, G has won against H, and H has lost all the matches. So we know that 3 wins are going to F and G in total, and there are no wins which H has taken. Let's try and write them down in this particular manner itself. So for F, we have the matches of G and H. Both of them are wins. So 2 wins here. G has a match between H and itself, so 1 win here. And H has no wins, so 0 wins here. Now, out of 28 matches, there will be 28 wins and 28 losses. Out of the 28 wins, we already have given 3 amongst the bottom 3 scorers. That means 3 wins are gone, and we are left with 25 wins. So now these 25 wins have to be distributed amongst the top 5 players. I'm just assuming that A, B, C, D, E, and E are the top 5 players. Out of these, if I have to give them 25 wins, I will equally distribute them amongst the teams. So each of them gets 5 wins each. So 5 wins, 5 wins, 5 wins, 5 wins, and 5 wins. It doesn't matter who is playing with whom and who is losing to whom. It's just about out of A's 7 games in total, A is winning 5. That means the other 2, A is losing. Now that could be against any of these people. Because H has not won any game, every other team is winning with H. That is the understanding. We'll see that kind of an example also later in case this becomes a little tedious to understand. But yes. So we have 25 wins. We're giving all of them 5 wins each. Let's go back to the question and check. What is the highest number of wins for a team in the first stage, in spite of which it would be eliminated at the end of the first stage? This is your first stage. All of these have scored 5 points each. This one has scored 2 points, 1 point, and 0 point. We know that only the top 4 teams will go to the next stage. So the 5th person here will get eliminated. Out of these 5, they're all having an equal score. So out of these 5, one of the teams will definitely get eliminated. This is where they will use that complex mechanism of a tiebreaker, which we don't know of, which we should not delve into either then. So the 4 teams going are at a score of 5 each. I'm assuming again that A, B, C, and D have crossed and gone to the next stage. But it is E who has also received 5 wins or 5 points, but is still not able to go to the next stage. So E is eliminated, even though the wins are the highest or they're equal to the winners as well. Which means our answer to this question is going to be 5. This is the highest number of wins for a team in the first stage, in spite of which it would be eliminated at the end of the first stage. Let me try and explain this in another fashion, just for everyone who is still confused with this process. But remember, when a highest number of wins are asked and still the person is getting eliminated, you want to give the minimum points to the bottom scorers, and then the top few teams, you will give an equal number of points. It is as simple as that. As these five have scored 5, all of them have scored 5, but one of them is bound to get eliminated because only 4 can go ahead. And that is the maximum score that you can get and still get eliminated from the first stage. The other example or the other method to solve it or to understand it, but this has to be done only once and only once till you understand the entire set. After this, you will not have time to write down this entire method once again. So we are looking at matches played across all the teams. So we have A has played with B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. I'm writing the same thing for A as well, B as well. A, C, D, E, F, G, and H. C is playing a match with A, B, D, E, F, G, and H. These are all the matches. D is playing with A, B, C, E, F, G, H. E is playing with A, B, C, D, F, G, H. F is playing with A, B, C, D, E, and G, H. G is playing with A, B, C, D, E, F, and H is playing with all the above. This is, first of all, how you get the 28. All of them are playing those matches. All right. Now, I'm going to consider that A has won 5 matches. So B, C, D, E, and F, A has won. G and H, A has lost. I'm giving them all 5 points, right? So I'm going to try and see which games they must have won. So if G and H have won with A has lost against G and H. That means G has won with A and H has also won with A. Whoever is circled is basically the winner. So these matches are done. Then I have B. Now B has already lost to A, so this cannot be a win. But B could have won with C, D, E, F, and G. And then B has lost other 2 matches with A and with H. So A has already won with B. This is already taken care of. And B has lost against H. That means H has won with B as well. Just an understanding. Next, let's give 5 wins to C. Let's give 5 wins to C. So C has already lost with A and B. So these cannot be wins. C could have won with D, E, F, G, and H. Now, D, E, F, G, and H, all of them have lost to C. So there are no wins to be counted over here. What about D? If I go to D, or if I go to the next, can I give someone else as 5 instead of D and E? Now I know that D has already lost 3 matches. So D cannot be the one with 5 points. Let's go to H. H has already won 2 matches. H has lost with A and B. H has won with A and B, lost with C. So this cannot be a win. But can I have H win with D, E, and F? This will give it 5 wins as well. So I'm saying H has won with D. That means D has lost against H. H has won with E. So E has also lost against H, and F has also lost against H. There must be one more team that I should give 5. Let's try with G. Now, G has lost to B. G has lost to C. So these 2 are taken care of already. Can G win with D? Yes. Can G win with E? Yes. Can G win with F also? Yes. G has lost to H. Then I can consider this as a win instead of winning with F, or instead of winning with any of the others. These are still 4, and I can have this one also as a win. So G has also scored 5 points. G has won against these. Now, let's take a look at D. So, or let's take a look at F. F would have won against how many of these? F has lost to ABC. F has also lost to G and H. So F could have won to D and E. That's just another possibility. All right. Then I can say that E, on the other hand, now if E has won against or lost against all of them, all 6 of them, E could have only won against D. So let's give E that one place. And then D has lost all the matches. So F's score comes out to 2, E's score comes out to 1, and D's score comes out to 0. This is just a shuffle in the names that we had taken. We had taken A, B, C, D, E. Instead of that, A, B, C, G, and H will be going or will be qualified to get into the next stage. However, there's only 4 of them that can go ahead. 1 of them will get eliminated. So even if they have scored 5, they will still get eliminated. Hence, the answer will still be 5 itself. But like I said, this is only once and only once that you go along with the entire method. You do not have this much time in the exam to write down each and every match and think about what each and every result could be and then go ahead with an answer. So I hope this entire playout is very clear to all of you. This is how the tournament is to be played. But we are not going to do this for every single question or every time a question on round robin tournaments comes in front of us. Let's go ahead now to the next question in the set. All right, this is the next one. The minimum number of wins needed for a team in the first stage to guarantee its advancement to the next stage. Now, this is again a carry forward of the previous question itself. So we are saying that there are all these that have scored 5 and then 2, 1, and 0. This is what we had seen in the previous one. We want to make sure that there is a guarantee that you go to the next stage. How can you guarantee that you can go to the next stage? Is there a guarantee at 5 that you can go to the next stage? E has scored a 5, the 5th person has scored a 5 and still gets eliminated. So there's no guarantee that if you score 5 wins, you will definitely get into the next stage. So what you can do otherwise is just give one more win to the other person. And then definitely it is sure that you will be going to the next round itself. At 5, it is no guarantee because any of them, one of them is definitely going to get eliminated even at 5. So 5 does not guarantee you going to the next stage. That's why you'll have to have one more win. That means one win from somebody else will get reduced. Maybe G becomes a 0 in order to keep the wins as 28 itself. All right, so to make sure that you're going ahead into the next stage, you will require a minimum of 6 wins. The next question. The minimum number of wins needed for a team in the first stage to possibly advance to the next stage. In the previous question, if you remember, it was a guaranteed advancing to the next stage. Here it is a possible advance. And they're not asking you for the maximum, they're asking you for the minimum number of wins required. If you go back a few steps and remember what had we done for the maximum number of wins, we had these teams. We had given a minimum number of wins over here, and then we had made these equal. And then we had made these equal. This is for the maximum and still get eliminated. On the other hand, when they're asking you the minimum number of wins that E will have and still go ahead with the next. No. This question is about the minimum number of wins needed for a team in the first stage to possibly advance to the next stage. So I'm going to give a minimum number of wins to D and still D will advance to the next stage. How do I do that? You will just have to change the strategy a little bit here. When you want to minimize the number of scores over here, you want to maximize the top 3 places. And then, so you maximize these, and then whatever is remaining out of those, you will give an equal number to everyone else that follows. Let's try and understand this. What is a maximum win that A can have? A has played 7 matches, so A can get a maximum score of 7. B can get a maximum score of 6 because if A wins against B, B cannot win that match. So B will have 6 with C, D, E, F, and G, and H. C, on the other hand, will win all the 5 matches that C is playing after the entire A, B, and C. So how many matches or how many wins are already gone out of this? So 7 and then 5 is 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. We know that there are a total of 28 wins. Out of these, 18 wins have been given to the top 3 teams. That means I am remaining with 10 wins still to be distributed amongst all the others. Now, 10 wins again can be distributed evenly as 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2 because there are 5 teams for us. Does this tell you that D at a minimum of 2 wins can still go to the next stage? Yes, it does. It doesn't matter whether you're picking D or E or F or G or H. All of them are at a score of 2. One of them will definitely go into the next round because there are 4 team members that are chosen. So your answer for this question will be 2. That's the minimum number of wins, and you can still possibly advance to the next stage. It's a possibly advanced question. It's not a guaranteed advance. Let's go ahead and see the next question. Question 5, what is the number of rounds in the second stage of the tournament? Remember, in the second stage, there were 8 people who had come across. So we have 8 teams or 8 players. There will be, of course, we had counted the number of matches. There will be 4 matches in this round. Then 4 players will go ahead and there will be 2 matches between these 4 players. And then there will be 2 players in the finals. There will be only 1 match. That is the final match. But they're asking you the number of rounds, not the number of matches. So this was 1 round. This will be the second round. And this will be the third round. That's the final, the semi-final, and the quarterfinal. That means there will be 3 rounds in the second stage of the tournament. If they ask you how many matches would be there in the second stage, then there will be 4 matches plus 2 matches plus 1 match, which was 7 matches. This is something that we had counted in the first question itself to answer how many matches total are there in the entire tournament as well. Let's look at the next question. Question 6 here. How many teams got eliminated after winning exactly 1 match in the second stage of the tournament? So they're looking at the second stage. We just saw the second stage. There will be a quarterfinal, a semi-final, and a final. And they're looking at the teams that got eliminated after winning exactly 1 match in the entire second stage. So what we've done here is we've taken the top 4 teams of group 1 and we've taken the top 4 teams of group 2. This is where the second stage begins. I'm clearly assuming that A is the winner of the tournament. So A has won this match as well. A has won. So A has won, let's say, along with D. So D has lost this match. B has played with C. So B has won and C has lost. This is just an assumption. They have not told us who plays with whom, but we know that there are 4 matches. So A has to play with one of the team members, B has to play with one of the team members, C has to play with one of them, and D has to play with one of them. Those are the 4 matches. So I'm assuming that A has played with D and B has played with C. And then I'm also assuming the third match between P and S, let's say P won and S lost. And between Q and R, Q has won and R has lost. Now, who all go ahead? So we have A, B, P, and Q in the next round. This is round 1. This is round 2. Suppose A and B have played the match and P and Q have played the match in round 2. So we have A as the winner and B as the loser, P as the winner and Q as the loser. Who advances to the last stage, which is round 3 or the finals? A will go and P will go. So the last match has to be between these 2. And I'm assuming, let's say again, A has won and P has lost. We're looking at the number of teams who have gotten eliminated after winning exactly 1 match. Let's see the total number of wins of the teams. So A has got 3 wins, B has got 1 win, C has got no wins, D has got no wins, P again has got 2 wins, Q has got 1 win, R has 0, and S also has 0. How many teams have gotten eliminated after winning exactly 1 match? That's going to be team 1 and team 2. So the answer here will be, there are 2 teams who got eliminated even after scoring a win in the round in all the 3 rounds actually in the second stage. You could play these matches across number of multiple ways. There's no hard and fast rule over there. It's just that we know for a fact that there were 7 matches in stage 2. So there have to be 7 wins. Now, these 7 wins and 7 losses have to be distributed amongst any of those team members. So I could be playing a match between A and B also. One of them will be a winner, one of them will be a loser. I could also play a match between A and P as a cross group kind of a questionnaire, but that does not again change the value. That's 7 matches. So 7 wins have to be there. Are there 7 wins in total? 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Out of which there will be definitely 2 teams which have gotten eliminated after 1 win as such. So there can be multiple combinations of this play as such. Let's see the next question that follows. What is the minimum number of matches won by the winner of the tournament? So we want the minimum matches won by the winner of the tournament. This is a little bit tricky when it comes to the question, but let's try and understand what could be the answer again. We know for a fact so far that at 5 wins, now suppose I give you a situation where we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, let's say. And we have the other team also here. And we have given these 7, 6, 5, and then all of these are 2. But we know for a fact, let's say 4 teams go ahead. And over here, it's again the 4 teams that go ahead. But we've taken the other scenario where each of these have scored 5 and T is still getting eliminated. This is 2, 1, 0. That's the understanding, right? So the minimum number of wins is what we want. Now we know that the quarterfinals has to be a win, the semifinals has to be a win, and the finals also has to be a win. So there are 3 wins definitely in the second stage. So these are 3 wins. And then along with that, you want a minimum number of matches won in the entire tournament. So this is a fixed 3 wins. So you want to minimize the number of wins in the first stage itself. What could be the minimum number of wins that you could have got and still won the tournament? If I score a 5 plus the 3, that gives me 8, but that's a high number of wins. What about if I take a 2? If I take D, D has won 2 matches in the first stage, and then D has won all these 3, so total of 5, and then gone ahead and won the tournament. D could have won the tournament, right? But then at 5, you can't say for sure that you will be a winner of the tournament. Again, because there is someone at 5 who's got eliminated also altogether. So I know for a fact that at 5, I can't definitely win the tournament because at 5 wins, I could have also lost the entire thing in round 1 itself. I could be eliminated in round 1 just by 5 wins. Let's try with 6 wins. A total of 6 wins means 3 wins over here and 3 wins in the first session. So if I give 3 wins to D and let's say reduce 1 from H, D has scored a 3 over here and has gone to the next stage. And in the next stage, it went on to win the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals. That means it has got these 3 wins as well. So a minimum of 6 wins will guarantee that I could have won the tournament, or I could have been the winner of the tournament. Right? So that means 6 is going to be your answer and not 5. Because again, clearly to understand, with 5 wins, you could have been eliminated in the first round itself. So you would not go even to the next round. But with 6, you can't get eliminated in the first round because there'll be 3 wins here and you'll definitely go to the next stage. Or you will have 3 wins here and then get to the 6 as such. Let's take a look at the last question of the set. This is a tedious question and it will require breaking down each and every option one by one and taking a look at the possibilities. Which of the following statements is true? The winner will have more wins than any other team in the tournament. At the end of the first stage, no team eliminated from the tournament will have more wins than any of the teams qualifying for the second stage. At the first glance, everything seems true, but once we get on to the nitty-gritties of it, you'll realize that it's not always going to be true. C says it is possible that the winner will have the same number of wins in the entire tournament as a team eliminated at the end of the first stage. And D says the number of teams with exactly one win in the second stage of the tournament is 4. If you remember this question being asked previously, we had seen that the number of teams with exactly one win in the second stage of the tournament was actually 2, not 4. So D is definitely not going to be an answer. We'll come to that in a bit if you require an explanation for that as well. But it's going to be between A, B, and C. Let's break down each and every scenario and see which one is actually definitely true or always going to be true. All right, the first thing here says, or A says, the winner will have more wins than any other team in the tournament. Let's suppose that 7, 6, 5, and I'm giving this 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And this could be a 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 and 0. Now we know that the top 4 teams go into the next stage. And in the second stage, there are definitely 3 wins that have to happen. So what is the minimum wins that someone can have and still be the winner? I can have D at 2 and D winning the tournament. So with 2 wins and 3 wins, there could be 5 wins. 5 wins in total is definitely not more than any other team in the tournament because I had A winning 7 matches here itself and still not winning the tournament. But D has won the tournament with only 5 wins. So it's not that the winner will have more wins than any other team in the tournament. So A is out of question. If I look at B, it says at the end of the first stage, no team eliminated from the tournament will have more wins than any of the other teams qualifying for the second stage. Once again, no team eliminated at the end of the first stage. We know that the teams eliminated are after the top 4 teams. Here, T is getting eliminated even though T has 3 wins. On the other hand, D has 2 wins and still going forward. It doesn't matter if it is D, if it could be E, F, G, or H. Any one of them is definitely going to go to the next stage. So T, even though has scored 3 wins, is still losing out to someone who has scored a 2. So I cannot say B is true either, that at the end of the first stage, no team eliminated from the tournament will have more wins than any of the teams qualifying for the second stage. In fact, here we have T more than 2, but T still getting eliminated and D going forward to the next stage. Therefore, B also is not going to always be a true statement. Coming to the next option, which is C, it is possible that the winner will have the same number of wins in the entire tournament as a team eliminated at the end of the first stage. Is this a possibility? Once again, if I take an example of 7, 6, 5, and then all of them are 2s, and on the other hand, I can give 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and then maybe a 2, 1, and a 0. And then the second stage, there will be 3 wins for sure. It is possible that the winner will have the same number of wins in the entire tournament as a team eliminated at the end of the first stage. Who is eliminated at the end of the first stage? So I have T eliminated at 5. Can D be the winner and be at the same number of wins? D will have a score of 2 here and a score of 3 in the second stage. So D would have won the tournament with 5 wins. And on the other hand, I have T getting eliminated in the first stage itself at 5 wins. So this is a possibility, and hence they have said it is possible. They've not said it is definite, but is it possible? Yes, there is a possibility there. So C is the answer to this question, but let's see why D is not the answer. Let's go to the last option of this question. Yeah, the last option says the number of teams with exactly 1 win in the second stage of the tournament is 4. And we did take this as an example, right? Let's switch it up a little bit from the previous scenario that we did. So in the previous one, we had played A, D, and B, C, but now we'll play something else. Let's suppose we are playing against AS, BR, CQ, and DP. This is the first round. So in round one, I'm assuming that A wins and S loses, B wins and R loses, C wins and Q loses, and D wins and P loses. So the top four will go to the next stage. Now your matches are between, suppose, A and D, B and C. We have a win here and a win here. These two will be losses. And then between A and B, we have the final round, which let's suppose A wins, so B loses. This is round one, round two, and round three of the second stage. We're looking at the number of teams with exactly one win. We have this as 3 wins, B is 2 wins, C is 1 win, D is also 1 win, P is 0 wins, Q, R, and S all are 0 wins. So how many teams have exactly 1 win in the second stage? There are only 2 teams which have exactly 1 win in the second stage. So it's not 4, it's going to be 2. That is why option D is also incorrect. And with that, we end this entire tournament, which is a round robin tournament. But make sure to follow us more. The link is in the description so that you're catching up one particular set at a time every week. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.